Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I said that right.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I've been messing it up. I've been saying Everything, Everywhere, all the time, but that's what it's called. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And as you guys see, we're in a different spot. This is a different area. I am welcoming you guys into our bedroom, like the Will Smith and Jada Pinkett are. I'm just kidding. We have boundaries in our relationship. It's none of y'all's business. I'm not trying to get slapped. Right. So we were talking about Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, starring
Michelle Yeoh,
and Daniel guys are directing it. What are their names?
Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert.
Daniel Swan and Daniel Schreiner, and they directed the Swiss Army Man movie, right? We've not seen that one.
Yeah, I don't know if it's directed or written by them or what. But
right.
Somehow
Swiss
Army
connected, yeah.
Man people are associated with this one as well.
I've not seen that movie, but it had a very unique premise and
right.
very, very unusual, but a lot of people seem to like it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I was already intrigued. I'm intrigued by time travel. I'm intrigued by multiverse type movies. I'm intrigued by comedies. I'm intrigued by kung fu.
Right.
This movie right here had everything in it. I'll give you guys a quick premise before we give our thoughts. So this movie, not a lot of viewings, by the way. Like, if we didn't see today's viewing, we probably wouldn't see it for a while.
Right,
like,
until they bring out more, which apparently is going to take a bit. I guess.
And we didn't get no press screening for this. It was just like a limited release.
Right.
But this movie was about this like middle-aged woman that's just, seems like she's going through a middle-aged crisis. Mm-hmm. She has no control over her daughter. Her marriage is falling apart. She's having trouble keep afloat of her business and, making her father happy and all this stuff. Very relatable things going on in her life.
Right.
And when things seem to get like at the worst point in her life, a multi-version of her husband comes in and says, "Hey man, we need your help. We need to save the multiverse." And for someone that has done the bare minimum in their life, never took any risks, never done anything special, it's just like this is just the lowest point of her. Has no idea how to even react to any of this. Mm-hmm. It's just a big bombshell that they put on her. And let me tell you, this premise sounds weird and ridiculous, but let me tell you something. It has soul, it has heart, it has brain. This might be one of the rare occasions where I say this is a perfect movie. What are your thoughts on this movie?
I loved it. Like you said, it has everything in it. It's very... I don't know. I feel like it's written just very well. It's very strong. It's very deep.
For sure.
I feel like I was telling you before. I feel like it's the perfect adult movie.
For sure. And we took our child, but
we did. And there's a couple scenes in there that are not necessarily for children, but we just covered his eyes and it was fine.
For sure.
But
you don't know
like
what scene it is when you see
movie,
it. Yeah.
Not because of like the scenes or anything like that, because honestly, it really wasn't too bad of a movie.
Yeah.
Rating wise, but just the content in it and the topics that they're tackling are just very like you have to be an adult really to wrap your head around all of the things that they're talking about.
Right.
I don't know, and I feel like it was like a nice way to like just give adults like a movie to feel like, wow, okay. All these other adults are also going through all the same shit I'm going through.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You would think such a crazy premise would you would be like, I cannot relate to any of this.
But you relate to pretty much everything.
Everything.
Honestly.
As someone I feel like has gone through a quarter life crisis, this woman's going through a midlife crisis, and as a father, there's so many relatable scenes that just touched my heart. Like I'm going through the exact same thing right now. Goodness gracious. I have these same thoughts right now. And this movie is just about trying to break generational curses at the same time, but it just gets weird and funky. I would say this movie right here is like if the Butterfly Effect and Jet Li's the one, and what's another one? Ratatouille, Matrix, heavily influenced by the Matrix. Oh my goodness. If all those movies had a baby, this would be it. Maybe Jackass. Kung Fu Hustle. This movie right here hit every genre.
It really
genre.
did. And I feel like we do say that a lot about a lot of other movies. Like,
right.
oh, this movie had everything. It made me mad. It made me sad. It made me laugh. It, it did all of those things. But like this movie takes that saying to like a whole other level.
For sure.
I recommend just really capitalizes on being everything.
Yeah, no, for sure. I recommend anybody that's a parent or anybody that's like, an adult. I recommend them to see this because it does have multiple messages. I just talked about, parenting and midlife crisis, but it's a movie about like kind of some mental health stuff. Like, yo, what are we doing? We're all faking this. We don't know how we're getting by. We're just, we're trying our best.
We're just on autopilot.
And at the end, it wins with love. Everybody's trying at the end of the day, and I can relate to that. And so let's talk about in depth about some of the shots and the scenery. Great kung fu. If great kung fu, it had like a Jackie Chan style kung fu. You know how he's action packed, but he's also silly with it. I thought that was dope. Jokes landed like every 5 minutes.
That's what I liked about this was like even though a lot of like the topics that were in it could be like heavy at times or like like that's kind of like sad or like doesn't make you feel like good to think about like that topic.
Right.
But it's important to address it.
Right.
Somehow they still like were able to sneak in something, a joke or like an awkward part or something that made you laugh.
These
literally
guys were
at
hilarious.
least once every 5 minutes.
100%.
And we were laughing through the entire movie while at the same time able to process a story that's written so well that it's talking about really important, deep adult topics.
Yeah.
At the same time, it was great.
It was definitely a message to everybody.
It was just the writing. I guess
writing was
it was just
amazing.
really amazing.
I want to talk about some of the shot choices. Like there was multiple scenes where like you would dive into different multiverses, but at the same time you're staying in the same spot. The shots that they chose to do that, like the coloring and just like they'd zoom in and then zoom out. They put you like in like if you look through a mirror and stuff like that, they're probably gonna touch more on that in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness type of stuff. But like the layers of what you could have been, the past that you could have been, they do a good job of bringing it all at once and then taking it away at the same time.
It kind of like some of the shots reminded me of that part in WandaVision where Monica Rambeau
when she's going through
and you see all these different pieces of her.
Good example.
It was very much so like that, but
a lot of that
during the movie and much more like fast paced and going back and forth and stuff. So
for sure. The performances, let's talk about Jamie Lee Curtis, one of the funniest parts of this movie. And when I watched the trailer, I thought it was just going to be a cameo. No, she's spread throughout this whole movie. And I think she's probably the funniest she's ever been.
Yeah.
And she, at the end, you really like kind of feel and relate to this character a little bit more too. As rotten and despicable as she could be in the movie, you're kind of like, yo, she's just on this rock trying to figure it out too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, look, it's rare. This might be perfect. The only criticism that she had that I agree with is a little.
It was long. So it was like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Which I'm not against a 2.5 hour movie, but I don't necessarily want to feel it.
Yeah, I think I felt it twice.
I feel like I felt it.
I felt it twice. But even that, though, that criticism, which I do agree with, thinking, because with the Batman, we were talking about the Batman, how we felt it was a little too long. Probably the last 30 minutes could have been cut. We have our times where we're like, yo, we could cut this and it would still be a great movie. This movie right here, I'd say is perfect. You could feel it's too long, but I can't think of one scene I would take out.
No, I agree. I don't think that there's anything that I would have not wanted to see that was in the movie. Like, I think that, the choices that they made were right. I don't think they were wrong for it.
For sure.
There was just something, I don't know, there's just something about the progression through the movie, I guess, that just made it feel like, at times, even as wild as it was, it made it feel kind of like, okay, this is getting a little long.
Yeah.
But I'll watch it again.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it again, for sure.
The time does not outweigh the amazing every other amazing part of this movie.
For sure.
It doesn't outweigh it at all.
And one of the biggest things I just thought about how this movie is really, really dope is it's not hard to understand. You would think this is a complex story, multiverses involved, parenting, midlife crisis. There's just so many layers to this movie, but it wasn't hard to follow at the same time. They really broke it down as elementary as they could.
I mean,
and you're like, I'm with you. I get it.
Should be done.
It's There's a lot of movies you're like, what's going on? What's happening? I don't know the rules because when there's multiverse and time travel, each movie has a different rule to it. I don't think I was lost once, and I was kind of worried about that, because the trailer doesn't tell you much about the movie, and it gives you all these complicated aspects of it, but it was easy to follow. So dumb, even I got it.
Not making you feel
dope.
Lost.
It's a dope one and done. Doesn't need any sequels, doesn't need any prequels or anything like that. I love that. I love it. I love it.
Too.
And it really sucks that it's getting a limited release. Probably a lot of people won't see it. But when they do, come back and tell us your thoughts.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be coming out more
more and more slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a spoiler review to it because I feel like this is such a good movie. I don't care about spoilers usually, but I don't really want to ruin this for anybody. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's definitely something you should just kind of go into.
Yeah.
Blind with really no expectations.
For sure. And hands down, it's my favorite movie of the year right now. Year's not over, but if it's not going to be my favorite, it's definitely probably going to make my top 5.
For sure.
Hands down. But anyways, if you're one of the few that actually saw this movie, let us know in the comments what you thought about this. Are you excited to see this movie? Let me know. And much love, peace, and chicken grease. Tell us what you think about the new setup and what we should do. Maybe I'll add a picture of my mom or something up there. Or your mom. Ryan Airy.